StoneX has released its latest quarterly outlook, highlighting the key trends shaping global markets. In corn, prices are still below where they started the year, even after a modest recovery in recent months. Record harvests in the U.S. and Brazil, shifting export patterns, and rising ethanol demand are all reshaping the market. I'm Johanna Bota, and here to break it all down for us is StoneX's Brazil Market Intelligence Analyst, Raphael Bulascoschi. Good to see you, Raphael.
Hello, Joanna. Good to see you again.
So I want to start with corn prices, which are still below the levels we saw at the start of the year. What's been driving this trend?
Yeah, that's right. Despite some short-term recovery between August and September, overall corn prices remain under increased pressure. The main factor behind this downward trend is the expectation of a record corn crop in the United States this season. Favorable weather conditions and also an expansion in planted area have significantly boosted production potential in the United States. But it's not just the U.S. Other major producers like Brazil and China have also harvested strong crops this year, which adds to the global supply and keeps the prices under pressure.
Okay, so let's focus on the U.S. for a minute. How are record output and export activity shaping the balance in the market?
Yeah, like I said, the combination of a larger acreage and excellent yields points to a record U.S. corn harvest this year, despite some localized weather problems and the last lag of the development of the crop. This good crop naturally creates some downward pressure on prices. However, like you said, the U.S. export market has been surprisingly strong, helping to absorb part of this additional supply that's coming from the great crop. Mexico has become a particularly important buyer, increasing its imports after disruptions in the cross-border cattle movements, like our chief commodities economist Arlen Suderman talked about in the recent StoneX TV commentary. So while production is at record levels, robust export demand is acting as a key stabilizer for the U.S. corn market and as a consequence for the U.S. corn prices.
So Brazil has actually also harvested a record crop this year. How has that influenced the global picture, and what are the domestic dynamics at play?
Yeah, Brazil's 2025 corn production reached around 140 million tons, another record. But even so, Brazilian exports have slowed, mainly because of a stronger real and lower international prices, which reduce the competitiveness abroad. In addition, one factor that has affected the share of export in the demand for Brazilian corn is the domestic demand for Brazilian corn. We are seeing a new source of domestic demand coming from the rapid growth of corn-based ethanol production. This sector has been expanding quickly with new plants coming online, and it's helping to absorb a larger share of local corn supply. Here in StoneX Brazil, we estimate to a demand for corn to the production of ethanol of around 22.3 million tons in 2025. And that's a number that is expected to grow to 28.3 million tons in 2026. This growth of 6 million tons or 27% in just 1 year shows the size of this demand for corn for ethanol production.
So actually, that leads me to my next question. Ethanol production has become a global growth story, not just a Brazilian one. How is this trend reshaping long-term corn demand around the world?
Yes, absolutely. The ethanol industry is expanding globally, and that's becoming a major driver for the long-term corn demand, as you said. In Brazil, higher blend mandates now at 30% and potentially rising to 35% in the next few years, combined with new production capacity, are supporting this rapid growth. But not only in Brazil, like I already talked about, but also in India, the ethanol blend has already reached 20%, with corn increasingly used as a feedstock alongside sugarcane. And other Asian countries like Vietnam and Japan are also moving toward 10% blending rates. Uh, Meanwhile, the US ethanol sector remains a mature but steady consumer of corn, continuing to provide a solid demand base for corn in the ethanol industry.
And one last thing before we wrap up. What should the market be watching most closely as we look ahead to the 25-26 season?
Yeah, going forward, in addition to the market monitoring the final results of the US harvest, and the potential for the US export market to remain strong, the market's main focus will shift to Brazil, and the Brazil's ability to sustain production growth going to the next year. A key element will be the soybean planting progress, since it determines the timing and success of the safrinha corn crop, which represents most of Brazil's output. At the same time, high domestic corn prices should continue to encourage farmers to expand acreage in Brazil, so this will also be a point of attention going forward. Internationally, the balance for corn is not exactly comfortable. The global corn stock to use ratio is at its lowest level in recent years, which means that the market may be sensitive in the coming months to any problems with global crops, or maybe even a strengthening in the demand for corn. Therefore, the market demands a certain degree of caution and close monitoring over the coming months.
Raphael, thank you for your time, and thank you to our viewers for watching. For deeper insights and analysis, scan the QR code or click the link in the description to download the Quarterly Commodities Outlook.